Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. At this point, I don't think there is any question that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had their whole entire operation rigged for videotaping. And I don't think that there is a question at this point that this was a blackmail operation to get dirt on these powerful people, be they politicians, businessmen, or otherwise. I think the only question that remains now is who put this operation into play. Now, a lot of people will tell you that it's the Mossad. A lot of people are adamant that this is a 100% locked and loaded Mossad operation. I am not one of those people. I believe that this was a CIA operation and that the CIA worked in conjunction with the Mossad to get this off of the ground. There is zero chance that the Mossad or any other intelligence agency is running such an operation here on American soil without the dirty, disgusting fingers of the CIA being wrist deep in it. The CIA are the kings of this sort of shit. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe the Mossad most assuredly played their part, and I think that the Mossad or intelligence agencies surrounding the Mossad were involved in providing the assets, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. And I also believe that they were involved and in charge of the day-to-day operations. But the overarching operation, the whole entire blackmail, honey trap situation that was being run here in the United States, there is zero chance in my mind that this was not a CIA operation, meaning the CIA was overseeing the whole entire thing, providing logistics, providing cover here in the United States, etc., etc. I don't believe that it was just the Mossad running an operation like this. From my experience with situations such as these, it's very rare that you will see a foreign intelligence service, such as the Mossad or the intelligence services from the Five Eyes nations, that they're running an operation without the CIA aware of it. Look, the CIA knows everything, all right? All the metadata that's being put out there, they have it all. And to think that the CIA wasn't involved in what Jeffrey Epstein was up to is naive at best, in my opinion. And it's letting them off of the hook. And that is something I refuse to do, because the CIA has done nothing but sow seeds of disaster everywhere they have been. And frankly, I'm tired of them getting a pass. I'm tired of them not answering hard questions. And to try and pin this all on the Mossad is once again letting the CIA off the hook. So here on the Jeffrey Epstein Show, that's not going to occur. The CIA is front and center here. In my opinion, this is a CIA-run operation, and the CIA must pay the bill. Our article today is from The Sun. The headline, Total Control. Jeffrey Epstein admitted he needed to have something on Prince Andrew when quizzed about their friendship. The author of this article is John Lockett. In surviving Jeffrey Epstein, accuser Lisa Phillips claims sex slave Virginia Roberts was not the only woman the twisted tycoon dispatched to the under fire royal. And we knew that this was going to occur, right? We knew that there's going to be other girls that come forward and say that they spent time with the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. This is another guy like Epstein, maybe not all the way down to his depraved level because his image wouldn't let him get down to those depths. But nonetheless, this is a man with disgusting proclivities. Why would we think that it would only be Virginia who was trafficked to him? I've said it numerous times, folks. There are so many unnamed girls in this saga. And it's horrifying to think that some of these ladies, some of these girls, are still too terrified to come forward. Most of the girls didn't speak about what happened with Prince Andrew, but I had one very good friend who confided in me about her experience with him, she claims. She told me that Jeffrey kind of instructed her to go into a room and have sex with Prince Andrew. So these are explosive allegations, right? And I would think that Miss Phillips would have to sit down and speak to the FBI about what she knows, right? You would think the FBI is trying to compile all of the evidence possible, and something like this is a pretty interesting statement, right? And a statement that most certainly needs to be looked at. You have a survivor of Epstein coming forward and saying that she has heard firsthand from other girls who were forced to sleep with Andrew. So I think that's a pretty big story. I think that's a pretty big nugget, and I think it's something that must be investigated and looked at a little bit deeper. A number of contributors to the 4-part series being screened on Lifetime also claimed Epstein would provide the women to his associates before he wanted to have control over other powerful people. And what better way to get control over these dorky-ass scientists, over these politicians, over these businessmen? Not just providing a prostitute, right? That's something you can survive if you're a businessman or a powerful person. Oh, I had an indiscretion. I cheated on my wife with a sex worker. I'll never do it again. I'm very sorry. And people move on with their lives. But if you get caught with an underage girl, well, there's no coming back for that. And if he has videotape of that and pictures of that, you are absolutely sunk, my friend. And your only hope at that point is to play ball and dance to the devil's tune. He just mentioned that he needs to have something on people, adds Phillips. Roberts told the documentary, there were times that he would send me on a commercial flight to go meet the people, saying, I want you to take care of them and report back to me what they liked, what you did for them. And that this is all part of it. If you look back in history and you look at these sort of operations put into play by intelligence services, CIA, Mossad, etc., this is what they do. They send out their girls, their assets, into a situation where those girls can glean information from the target. And we've heard Virginia be very adamant about that, how that was one of her key jobs and one of her key roles, reporting back to Epstein. So we know that he was building not only dossiers on these people, which is apparent, but he was adding video footage to accompany those dossiers and act as a companion piece. So not only were they words on a page, folks, they were videos and they were pictures. And it all starts to become clear why these people were all playing ball with Jeffrey Epstein. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Barbara Ziv explained, once Epstein gets someone to accept to have sex with an underage kid, it gives him some power over the individual. When the individual accepts some power, it gives him complete power over them. He might as well be using the Jedi mind trick, because that's the sort of power that he wields over you the second you start having affairs with underage children. And these people who were engaging in these acts and who were getting blackmailed, I don't feel any sympathy for them either, by the way, folks. What are you doing? What are you doing even accepting an offer like that from a man like Jeffrey Epstein? Most of these people who were caught up in this have all the money in the world. They could have went to Amsterdam, any place where prostitution is illegal if that's what they wanted. Come here to Nevada, plenty of cat houses. But no, instead, they thought it was a good idea to engage in sexual relations with girls provided to them by Jeffrey Epstein. So no, I don't have any sympathy for these people at all. And I want them all to face the harshest, most vicious punishment available. Epstein thought of these girls as commodities. He gave them out like he'd give out a good bottle of wine, or a trip on his boat, or a flight to somewhere. They were nothing more than objects to him, and that's for sure. Jeffrey Epstein Ghislaine Maxwell were the type of people that would use anything that they thought that they could wield to make things move in a forward direction as far as the trafficking ring is concerned. These girls were nothing to them. The people around them were nothing to them. All that mattered was the operation. All that mattered was gathering, compromising information so that they could steer these people into whatever knucklehead nonsense their handlers wanted. And it becomes more clear by the day, folks, what was going on here. And the legacy media's unwillingness to dip their toes into one of the most important angles of the case, the blackmail angle, it goes to show you everything you need to know about their honesty and about how much they care about what occurred here. Numerous former associates of Epstein have also said that the rooms in his vast Manhattan townhouse, where Andrew is known to have stayed, were fitted with cameras. And not just the townhouse, the Virgin Islands house, New Mexico, and Palm Beach. All of the houses were wired up and ready to go. The cameras are said to have been intended to capture compromising footage of Epstein's guests. Describing the rumors, New York Times journalist Christopher Mason, a one-time friend of Maxwell, says, "The stories I kept on hearing were that in every guest bedroom in Jeffrey Epstein's house, there were hidden cameras." And again, another person corroborating the fact that this place was wired up like it was an episode of You've Been Caught on Candid Camera. So why would he have this place all wired up if he wasn't going to use this material for blackmail purposes? Was he just a voyeur sitting around in these rooms, touching himself? Well, that might be the case. He might have been doing that. That most assuredly wasn't his sole motivation here. Remember, at the core of everything, Jeffrey Epstein craved power. Power over these girls and power over those who he rubbed elbows with. And he had the perfect plan and the perfect people around him to make those dreams into reality. And that part of Jeffrey's ability to manipulate was that he had this video of powerful men having sex with underage girls. And these recordings were held in a safe that Jeffrey was using as a power tool to manipulate wealthy guys to make them do whatever he wanted. Well, this Christopher Mason guy sure seems to know a lot about what was going on. Where were you back in the day, Mr. Mason? Oh, you just thought they were eccentric, right? Just some weird people with some odd proclivities. Yeah, well, while you were busy writing goofy-ass songs that were celebrating Jeffrey Epstein, he was busy with his buddy Ghislaine and your buddy Ghislaine on a decades-long spree of rape, assault, and dream-crushing. Shamed financier Epstein, pedophile, killed himself, allegedly, in a New York cell last August while awaiting trial on charges for the sex trafficking of minors. Andrew has long faced questions about his association with Epstein and alleged Epstein madam, co-conspirator, fellow child abuser, general all-around scumbag, Ghislaine Maxwell, currently awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Maxwell strongly denies the allegations against her. Roberts has previously alleged that she was trafficked by Epstein over a 2-year period after being introduced to him by Maxwell in the summer of 2000. So remember now, 2000, 2002, and all of the other people who were around during this timeline. Just think about all those other people that were around Epstein at this time when he was running around with Virginia, who was obviously a young girl, and nobody said shit. Nobody said a word. Nobody. She says that, in that period, she was forced to have sex with the prince on 3 occasions. Once in London, once in New York, and once on Epstein's private Caribbean island. The royal repeatedly denied any wrongdoing regarding any accusations and has not been charged with any crime. Representatives for the royal did not wish to comment. Yeah, I bet they don't wish to comment. I think that old Joe Exotic of the Windsor family has done commented enough and opened his mouth and inserted his stank-ass foot. So yeah, I'm sure Buckingham Palace has nothing else to say at this point. They've made fools of themselves. They've made fools of the royal family with their reaction to all of this, with their behavior regarding Jeffrey Epstein. And it's in their best interest to keep their yap shut at this point, in my opinion. But as for the rest of this, the fact that Jeffrey Epstein had everything wired up, the fact that all of these people know that Jeffrey Epstein had everything wired up, and that the rumors have always been there, that he was using this to blackmail people, should be one of the biggest stories in the legacy media. But instead, they're silent. And their silence speaks loudly. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. The links that go with this article can be found in the description box. All right, everybody, we'll be back later on.